Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Auntie webinar. My name is Janni Palin, and I work as a sales director here at Auntie. Joining me today is also Auntie's psychological expert, Sanna Konsti. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Today, our topic is about what lights your fire at work and why does the spark sometimes fade. Sanna will dig deeper on the topic just in a bit. Since there might be some new Auntie users online, I'll first briefly explain what we actually do nowadays. At Auntie, we offer anonymous one-on-one support to help develop your important mental skills, for example, resilience, self-leadership, or stress management. We all know that the pressures of current working life are real, and it is quite important to focus also on the training your mental skills, not just the physical skills that you do while training, for example. But before we get to the topic, I would first like to go through the first poll question. I will click it from here. So the question is, what most undermines your motivation at work? And you can click what expresses your current feeling the most. First option is excessive workload and time pressure. Second is unclear goals or expectations. The work doesn't feel meaningful, little feedback or recognition, a monotonous routine task, no opportunities to develop, challenges in a workplace relationships, and the lack of influence or say in decisions. Let's just wait a bit and see how the results will look like.
Yeah, it seems that there are 3 or 4 that are kind of getting more votes than the others. But
yeah, that is true. For some reason, the poll is freezing on my end. So the answer might be different to you on the audience, but for me, it shows that the work doesn't feel meaningful is the highest at the moment. But let's see if it refreshes or something, and it will show differently. How does it show to you, Sanna?
yeah, it shows the same way that work doesn't feel meaningful is number 1, and then the second is unclear goals and expectations. Third one is, I think, lack of influence or say in decisions. And the fourth one is excessive workload and time pressure. So that's how it looks for me.
Okay.
And definitely this like makes sense to me, and I'm happy to hear. Well, not happy to hear, but like we are going to talk about meaningfulness today. So at least that's the one that got most of the votes. So we are going to dig a little bit deeper in that area. And yeah, like these are very common and the things that I all the time I face when I'm working with the customers and with teams in organizations. So this looks very typical, very, very normal and very usual. We had another webinar in Finnish this week, and there I think it was actually there the excessive workload and time pressure was the number 1 there. So a little bit different results this time, but but still like very, very typical.
Yeah, exactly. But now go ahead, Sanna.
Yes.
You can start presenting and I will drop off just for a bit.
Yes. Yeah, thank you, Janne. So I will share my slides now, and Janne, if they don't, if you can see them, just let me know. Yeah, okay. So here they are. So for those who came late, my name is Anna Konsti, and I'm at Auntie as a psychological expert. And what it means, basically, I'm responsible for our product from the psychological perspective. So that's basically my job. But I think that's enough about me. So let's move on to today's agenda. So our topic is motivation and what sparks it and what sometimes causes it to fade. And my goal for this webinar is that it will give you some tools to help you identify which factors are essential for your motivation. Because once you are aware of them, it's easier for you to act in ways that strengthen and sustain your motivation. And then we are going to talk about especially about values and the meaningfulness of your work. So let's get started. I think all of us, we know how it feels like when the motivation is high. Because everything feels a little bit lighter, you have energy, you have enthusiasm, and you have a clear why you do the things that you do. And then even those like routine tasks, they feel a bit more purposeful, and also the setbacks, they are much more easier to handle. And then we all know probably how it feels when the motivation is low. Life is kind of like feeling a little bit heavy, getting started. It's much more difficult. You feel tired, sometimes even numb. Your work, the things that you do, it feels a little bit like forced or pointless, and you may catch yourself asking like, why on earth am I doing this? But what exactly is motivation? So it is simply the reason so it shapes what we choose to do, how much effort we put in, how long we stick with it. So basically, it explains why we start the things that we do, why we keep going and stop doing them sometimes. Motivation is many times it's divided into intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. And you have intrinsic motivation when the activity that you are doing itself feels interesting, it feels meaningful and enjoyable. And you know it's intrinsic motivation when you do something for its own sake. You lose track of time when you are doing it. You are very deeply focused and you have these like flow moments. And then you keep going even when it's difficult and even when you didn't succeed the first time. And then the extrinsic motivation, it's something it happens when we do something mainly for the outcome. It could be a praise, rewards, avoiding hassle, or some kind of punishment, or then we are trying to meet others' expectations. Intrinsic motivation, it's usually more durable. Because it deepens our commitment, it helps us to focus better, it supports our learning and also creativity, it brings joy and also a sense of meaningfulness in our lives. But when the driver is mostly external, then the enthusiasm, it usually fades much easier and much faster, and especially if the task demands a lot of effort. And for example, I go running sometimes like this morning, and it's completely driven by extrinsic motivation. I head out because I know that it's good to take care of my physical health, and running is quite easy way to do it. And although I have been running quite a lot in my life, I have never really enjoyed doing it. So I have never felt the runner's high that many of my friends who run a lot, they experience it. And because I run only for the payoff, and I don't really enjoy it, it takes quite a lot of willpower to do it. And many times it's too cold, it's too warm, it's too dark, it's too sunny, it's raining, I'm tired, the stars and moon, they are not aligned the right way, and it's really, really easy for me to like find excuses why I'm not, like, I shouldn't go. But when it's something that truly matters to me, the circumstances, they don't actually matter at all. I just do it. But in practice, our motivation is usually kind of like a mixture of both of them. And also it rises and falls because of many factors that shape it. So what sparks our motivation at work and what makes it fade? Short answer, lots of different things. And also because we are all different, motivation is deeply a personal experience. And that's the reason why we can't cover every factor today. Instead, we'll look at motivation through the lens of what you can control. And this doesn't mean it's not all on you. The context where you are, the leadership, workload, and the culture, and all these things, they do matter a lot. But for this session, we'll focus on the steps you can take in any setting. So if your spark feels a little bit dim or it's flickering, what can you do about it? Let's get practical. So first of all, self-awareness is a very powerful driver of motivation. And when you know what generally lights you up and also what shuts you down, you can steer towards roles and tasks that energize you. And you are also less likely to drift into work or doing things that clashes with what you care about and what are important to you. So boosting motivation isn't just about insights and knowing who you are, it's also acting on it. So basically notice what gives you energy and then make small choices that move you in that direction. And a great place to start is to clarify your values and also what makes work feel meaningful for you. So that's where we are headed next. Values, they sit at the heart of our motivation. So when our goals, they line up with the matters that are most dear to us, the energy and the commitment, they come more easily. So you feel more alive in your work and you are more likely to keep going when things get tough. But also living your values, it boosts your well-being and resilience. It feels your life feel more authentic and worth the effort. But the flip side is true as well. So working against your values, it drains your motivation, it increases your stress, and it also erodes your meaningfulness from your work. And that's why it's really worth pausing to name your values and look small ways to act on them. So what are values actually? They are things that you truly believe that are important at work or like outside work, in life in general. You can think of them like a compass that helps you to choose actions and give you a direction. And the best part of values, in my opinion, is that you don't need perfect conditions to follow them. Even like in these tough situations or with a really tough boss, for example, you can still make always like value aligned choices and then strengthen both your motivation and your well-being. So when your motivation dips, start with your values. Because if we don't know or think what truly matters to us, we easily slide into autopilot mode. We are chasing shoulds and other people's expectations instead of our own. And then we drift somewhere we really never wanted to go. So to recognize your values, ask yourself, what genuinely matters to me at work? Who do I want to be as a colleague, employee, or a manager? You can also think about the qualities you admire in others and also the moments at work or life that's felt deeply meaningful to you. And then reflect what made them so special. Write your answers down, and then choose the few that matter the most important values to you. Because once you know what your core values, the most important values are, it's much more easier to keep them clear in your minds and use them as a guide in your everyday life. And then scan your week. Are your choices lining up with those values, or is there a gap you could close? I also suggest you to connect your values to your role, to your responsibilities, your goals, and also values of your company. Because when you see how your work ties to what you care about, it's much more easier for you to stay motivated, even when the things get tough. And then after that, pick small concrete actions that express your values. For example, what you prioritize, what you say yes or no to. And for example, if you value growth, if that's really important to you, maybe you could give and ask feedback each week. Or if you value well-being, maybe you could block recovery breaks during the workday, or set an after-hours boundary for yourself. And don't forget to revisit your values regularly. Ask yourself whether your actions, your choices, your behavior have reflected them lately, and then adjust the course if needed. And then about the meaningfulness. It goes hand in hand with the values. So when you live your values at work, your work feels more meaningful. And when you go against them, that sense of meaningfulness, it fades. Meaningful, why we talk about it so much and why it matters so much is that because first of all, it fuels our intrinsic motivation, but also it supports our well-being and raises satisfaction with both life and work. And when we are talking about meaningfulness, we usually mean that it's a subjective sense of that your life and your work are important and worthwhile. So basically, it's the feeling that your life is worth living and your work is worth doing. And it is a very personal experience. So therefore, like in the same job, like two people can experience it very differently. And that's also the reason why your responsibility is, first of all, to figure out what makes work meaningful to you, and then act on it. Because no one else can do it for you. First of all, meaningfulness, it grows when our basic psychological needs are met. And these needs, there are three of them: autonomy, competence, and relatedness. They are the engine of our well-being and motivation. Autonomy, it means being able to influence your own life and actions, make your own decisions. So basically, you do things because you want to do them and not because you have to do them. You also feel that you can be authentic in your life and at work, and then pursue what interests you. And then competence, it's a feeling of being capable and skilled, but also believing that you have the ability to make things happen. Then relatedness is about feeling that you belong, you are part of the work community, and that you have important and meaningful relationships there. But secondly, contributing beyond yourself also matters. So doing good for others, whether it's your colleagues, other people, it's society, or the environments, is meaningfulness. And therefore, research has highlighted doing good as a source of meaningfulness, well-being, and happiness in life. And when all these four elements, they show up in your life in sufficient amounts, your intrinsic motivation rises, the meaningfulness deepens, and also your well-being improves. And values, needs, and motivation, they work together here because value-aligned goals, they usually satisfy these needs. And the opposite is also true. Because when you chase goals that are mainly for external reasons, when you reach your goals, you can still feel a bit empty. And if you want to strengthen the meaningfulness at work or in your life now, we can turn to practical steps next. So start by asking yourself, what do you need in order to feel competent and capable in your work? What kind of things give you a sense of belonging and a feeling that you have opportunities to influence and express yourself at work? And also, what kind of doing good is meaningful to you? And then decide which of these matters are most important to you right now in your situation. Then reflect what's working and what's not working in your current job. Where are your needs met and where they aren't? What are you satisfied about? And what would you like to change? And then choose your focus, because you can't do everything at the same time. And then steps you can take to make things better in your life. For example, if you feel that there's not enough autonomy at work, think about whether you could, for example, influence how do you do your work, and how could you make your work day more your own and a better fit for you. If competence matters, if that's the case, maybe you could start paying more attention to your wins for yourself, notice them yourself. Maybe you could ask more feedback, tell your boss that, yeah, I would like to have some new challenges if there's something that we could do about it. Or maybe you could set yourself like a micro goal for let's say 30 days and see how you progress. If you feel that relatedness is a little bit thin and you want to build relationships at work, a colleague for a lunch, and not sit on your desk, you can ask advice, show appreciation to your colleagues, or maybe offer help. But also reflect on the purpose of your work. Spend time considering the positive impact your work has for you and also the others. Because even if your work is very routine-like, there is a reason why your role exists and why you do the things that you do. So try to see the bigger picture, the mission, the vision, and the goals of your organization and how your work connects to them. And there's this famous story about from the 1960s when President Kennedy visited NASA. Because he apparently saw a person in a corridor wearing an overall, and he stopped and talked to him and asked him what is he doing in NASA, what is his role. And the man had smiled and replied, I'm helping to put a man on the moon. And this person, the man, he was a janitor. And that's basically the perfect example of the power of seeing your work to connect something larger. And his answer, it captures the power of purpose, because when you see how your work connects to a bigger mission, even the smallest task becomes more meaningful. And then consider also what's non-negotiable for you and where you can be flexible. Because no job meets our every need all the time. So judge the whole, not every detail. And if your work isn't, for example, challenging enough, but changing job isn't feasible right now, and there's nothing you can do about it, maybe you can add challenge in your free time, because it will positively influence how you feel also at work. Or if your work community and colleagues, they are very dear to you, maybe that will balance the weaker areas for a while. And when we are talking about meaningfulness, it's worth remembering that it doesn't come only from these peak moments in our lives, but often from these really small but still meaningful moments of everyday life. So it may be that these meaningful moments, they are already there, they exist, but we are just too busy noticing them. So don't think about only what's missing in your life and your work, but also pay attention to those things that you already have. And for that reason, meaningfulness doesn't necessarily require dramatic changes in your life always. And I'd also like to highlight the importance of well-being and recovery today, because we all know stress. Our work brings targets and responsibilities and deadlines, and then the life brings curveballs. And the more strain we carry, the more harder for us it's to stay motivated. So if nothing really excites you right now, pause and ask, how am I really doing? Because in the rush of everyday life, it's easy to miss our minds and bodies signals, warning signs. And then also many times we get used to them and we don't even notice them anymore. So if your honest answer to this question is that I'm actually a bit snappy at home quite often, I struggle to sleep because my mind is racing all the time, I feel a bit anxious and powerless actually quite often, then go back to the basics. Check your foundations. Make sure you are sleeping enough, you eat regularly, you move your body, you build short breaks into your work day, you have enough time for rest, you have enough time for relaxation and the people that you love, and also the things, your hobbies that really matter to you. So, and also prioritize your tasks, learn to say no. An important thing is also that do you have the courage to ask help from your colleagues, your manager, your loved ones, and if needed, from mental well-being professionals. We won't dive deeper into this topic today, but we'll explore the well-being and the mental skills in Auntie's October webinar, where you are warmly welcome to. More than a warm, I hope you will be joining. So finally, I'd like you to suggest that once this is over, you take a moment to consider your answers to these questions. Because whether it's about motivation or increasing well-being, it rarely improves by its own. Action is needed, and unfortunately, those actions, they don't have to be huge. Because the truth is that you'll move forward by much faster by taking small, even these tiniest little steps, daily or weekly, than by doing absolutely nothing at all. So now I want to thank you for participating, and I'll now hand it back to Janne.
Thank you, Sanna, for your concrete examples and in a way homework as well for our listeners. We have a few minutes left. I briefly want to explain, if you want to dig deeper on this specific topic with our Auntie professionals, here are a few example packages that you can dig deeper on this topic especially. Those are Lost in Transition. If you want to find clarity on your values or find your direction, the package will help you there. If you feel a bit stressed out, we can balance that in one of our packages. And if you feel that everything is quite okay, but you want to kind of develop yourself, then I would suggest to choose the Building Me packages. You can directly get into those packages with the QR code here on the screen. And I think that was it for today.
Yeah, hope to see you in our webinar in October.
Exactly. Yeah. Have an energetic day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.